In the cold stretch of the Kepler expanse, where distant suns glowed faint and alien fleets patrolled in silence, a war brewed that most humans believed was long over. The Galactic Concord, an alliance of 12 species, had once declared humanity extinct after the destruction of the Terran colonies 2 centuries ago. Yet stories lingered, rumors whispered through the void, tales of human ghosts that haunted abandoned worlds, of ships that appeared out of nowhere, striking with precision and vanishing into dark space. The aliens laughed at such things, dismissing them as myths, until the Battle of Vera Prime. The alien soldiers of the Clython Legion arrived on Vera Prime with arrogance carved into every movement. Their armor shimmered in hues of green and bronze, their banners stretched high, marked by sigils of conquest. Vera Prime was a shattered world, its cities long dead, its surface scarred by wars older than their race. The Legion came for relics, for technology said to be remnants of the Terran age. Among them was a commander named Var, known for his cruelty and pride. He sneered at the notion that humans had ever posed a true threat. "Legends are for those who fear the past," he said as his troops marched through the ruins. "Human courage is a bedtime story told to weaklings." Yet as the Clython advanced deeper into the city's wreckage, strange signs appeared. Old metal structures stood half-buried, their shapes unfamiliar, but every soldier felt something heavy in the air, an unseen gaze. At first they dismissed it as the wind howling through the ruins. But then one patrol failed to report back, then another. When they finally found the first team, their armored suits were ripped apart with surgical precision. No blast marks, no energy burns, just silence and emptiness. Commander Var grew impatient. He ordered drones to scan the area, but static filled every feed. Communication broke down. He barked orders, but the soldiers hesitated, eyes darting to the shadows that seemed too still. The sky above them darkened as the storm rolled in. And through that storm, a voice whispered across their comms in an old forgotten tongue. "Run." The Clython froze. None of them understood the words, but the tone carried something universal. Warning. The Legion ignored it. They advanced through the ruins until they reached a wide plaza where a colossal statue stood, half buried in rubble. It was humanoid, armored, holding a rifle that time had turned to dust. A plaque beneath it bore faded letters that none of them could read. Only one translation drone managed to decipher part of it before it shorted out. "For those who stand when all others fall." A shiver passed through the ranks, though none admitted it. They set camp at the statue's base. Night came quickly. The storm intensified, winds howling like screams of the dead. And then came the sound, the rhythmic beat of boots. Not alien, not machine, heavy, human. Lights flickered. Sensors failed. A soldier caught movement in the distance. Figures in old combat armor walking through the rain, their visors glowing faint blue. He fired. The plasma bolt passed straight through one of them. The figure kept walking. Panic spread. The Legion fired in all directions, their shots lighting up the ruins. The figures kept coming. Some disappeared when struck, fading like smoke. Others stood their ground. The storm swallowed every sound except the thunder and the echo of human voices singing a low, broken tune. It was not a song of victory, it was a dirge. By dawn, half the Legion was gone. The survivors regrouped, trembling. Commander Var roared, demanding logic, reason, proof. His aide, a young lieutenant named Ral, stared into the ashes of the campfires, unable to speak. He had seen one of the figures up close. Its armor bore markings from the old Terran defense force. He swore it looked right at him before fading into mist. Var ordered the remaining troops into the catacombs beneath the city. They descended into darkness, guided by flickering lights. Down there, the ruins were different, cleaner, preserved. They found corridors lined with human symbols, banners untouched by time, and deeper still, a chamber where machines hummed faintly with forgotten power. There in the center stood a cryopod. Inside was a man. His armor was ancient but functional, his insignia unmistakable. Terran Special Forces. His face, though aged and scarred, was calm. When the Clython approached, the pod hissed open. The man fell to his knees, coughing. The aliens aimed their weapons. "Don't move," Var ordered. The man looked up. His voice, rough but steady, filled the silence. "How long have I slept?" Ral hesitated. "Over 200 years, he said. The man nodded slowly, his eyes scanning their faces, their weapons, the alien sky through a broken ceiling. "So it's true," he whispered. "Earth is gone." Var stepped forward, sneering. You're a relic. Your kind is extinct. The man looked at him, not with fear but with pity. Extinct? He said quietly. You should have left this world buried. Before Var could respond, the chamber lights flared. The walls came alive with holograms, old battlefeeds, transmissions, data streams of human fleets, soldiers standing against impossible odds. Voices echoed through the room, recordings of commands, of defiance. The Legion watched as human history unfolded before them. Every war, every sacrifice, every last stand. The air itself seemed to vibrate with memory. Then the machine stirred. Across the ruins above, turrets unfolded from hidden panels. Drone sentinels rose from beneath the dust. Systems dormant for centuries awakened at the presence of one heartbeat, the human survivor. Var screamed for his troops to open fire. The man moved faster than their sensors could track. He grabbed a fallen rifle, old but alive, in his hands. Every shot he fired struck true. The alien lines broke. Chaos consumed the chamber. When it was over, the ruins fell silent again. Only smoke and echoes remained. The survivor staggered outside, looking at the dawn breaking over Vera Prime. He stood beneath the statue, the same one they had mocked, and placed his hand on its base. From the shadows, Raoul crawled forward, wounded but alive. He dropped his weapon and looked at the man, trembling. You're real, he whispered. The human turned, his expression unreadable. We were always real, he said. Legends don't die. They wait. Raoul looked around at the destruction, the shattered technology, the broken soldiers, the storm easing into calm. The others will come, he said. They'll send fleets. The man's eyes glinted faintly beneath his cracked visor. Then we'll remind them what fear feels like. He turned and walked into the ruins, his figure fading with the rising light. The Claython commander was gone, his army broken. Only Raoul remained, surrounded by ghosts of the past. He whispered into his calm, voice shaking. They're real. Across the galaxy, that transmission spread like wildfire. Fleets halted. Empires hesitated. And in hidden corners of the void, old systems woke up. Human satellites, bunkers, ships forgotten in deep orbit. A signal pulsed from one to another, a chain of awakenings. The legend of humanity, once thought lost, stirred again. On worlds far away, alien leaders met in panic. They replayed Raoul's message over and over. Some claimed it was a hoax. Others argued it was impossible. But those who had studied Terran history knew better. They remembered the stories. The siege of Titan, the fall of Vega, the last broadcast from the Sol system. We will return. Now, that promise echoed once more. Months later, reconnaissance teams sent to Vera Prime found only ruins. No bodies, no machines. But etched into a wall near the statue were new words, carved deep into stone. We stood when all others fell. And beneath that line, a fresh mark, the insignia of the Terran Defense Force. The soldiers who read it felt something cold settle in their bones. They reported back what they saw, but few believed them. Those who did began to prepare. The legend was no longer a story. It was a warning. Far beyond Vera Prime, deep within the asteroid fields of the Perseus Rim, a fleet began to form. Ships long hidden in ice and rock powered up for the first time in centuries. Lights blinked to life across hulls marked with the same insignia. At their center, aboard the flagship Resolute, the survivor stood at the command deck, his gaze fixed on the stars. He remembered Earth, the oceans, the blue sky, the promise that humanity would never kneel. Signal the others, he said quietly. It's time. Across the void, other voices answered. Faint at first, then stronger, carrying across space as if the universe itself remembered their name. And so, the galaxy that had mocked human legend learned the truth. The soldiers who taunted the myths would never forget the words whispered through static by one trembling survivor. They're real.